The cameras were still rolling when everything finally snapped. Not the polite, awkward tension fans were used to. Not the uncomfortable silences that usually filled the room when Jasmine and Gino disagreed. This time, it was loud. Raw. Unfiltered. And the moment that leaked online has fans asking one explosive question: was this the fight that finally broke them for good? Because what viewers saw on screen was only part of the story. And what happened behind the scenes is even messier. If you've been following the chaos inside the 90-Day universe, you already know that 90 Day Fiancé has never been short on drama. But few couples have delivered emotional whiplash quite like Jasmine Pineda and Gino Palazzolo.
Their love story was always volatile, passionate one minute, explosive the next, but what recently surfaced has fans convinced something much deeper is unraveling beneath the surface. And if you're one of the viewers who's been quietly watching this relationship spiral, you already feel it. Before we go further, quick note for the real insiders here, the ones who catch the tiny details TLC hopes we miss. If you're into these deep dives and behind-the-scenes truths, you already know what to do. Stick with us. There's a lot more coming. Because to understand why this latest fight hit so differently, you have to rewind. From the very beginning, Jasmine and Gino were built on intensity. Not stability, not quiet compatibility, intensity. She was fiery, emotional, openly vulnerable. He was reserved, awkward, sometimes painfully passive. On paper, it looked like opposites attracting. On camera, it often looked like a slow-motion collision. Still, fans rooted for them. Because underneath the arguments, there were moments, small ones, where the connection felt real. Jasmine crying about leaving her children in Panama. Gino nervously trying to prove he could be the man she needed. The messy, uncomfortable attempts at love that made viewers feel like maybe, just maybe, they could make it work. But love stories inside the 90-Day universe rarely collapse overnight. They erode, quietly, and the pressure started building long before this latest on-camera explosion. Money became one of the first fault lines. Jasmine was open about wanting security, comfort, stability. Gino, meanwhile, was constantly shown stressing about finances, job uncertainty, and the very real cost of bringing someone to the United States. Then came the immigration pressure. For couples in this franchise, the K-1 visa clock is like a ticking time bomb. 90 days to decide forever. 90 days to merge two completely different lives under one roof. 90 days with cameras documenting every emotional crack. That kind of pressure doesn't just test relationships. It exposes them, and fans started noticing the shift months ago. On Instagram, viewers pointed out Jasmine seemed more emotionally exhausted in her stories. On TikTok, clips of their tense moments began circulating with captions like, "This feels different now." Over on Reddit, long threads dissected Gino's body language during recent episodes, with some users claiming he looked checked out. Then the fight happened. According to multiple viewers who caught the unedited footage and the leaked behind-the-scenes chatter, the argument didn't start big. It started small. Those are always the dangerous ones. A comment, a tone, a look held a second too long. Suddenly the temperature in the room changed. Jasmine's voice rose. Gino shut down, the way fans have seen him do before. But this time, something was off. The cameras captured Jasmine pacing, visibly shaking, her voice cracking in a way that didn't feel performative. Not reality TV dramatic. Real. Gino, meanwhile, wasn't just quiet. He looked distant, detached, like someone mentally halfway out the door. Viewers immediately noticed. Within hours of the episode airing, clips flooded X. TikTok edits hit hundreds of thousands of views overnight. YouTube reaction channels lit up with speculation. Was this staged? Or was this the moment everything finally broke? One Reddit user wrote, "I've watched every season. This didn't feel like their usual fights." Another posted, "Gino looked done." And that's when things got even more interesting. Because buried in fan discussions and quietly pieced together by sharp-eyed viewers was a detail TLC barely touched. Right before the blow-up, Jasmine had reportedly confronted Gino about communication that wasn't shown clearly in the final edit. Not just about money, not just about emotional support. Something else, something that hinted at deeper trust issues resurfacing between them. Fans who've followed their full history know this isn't new territory. Their relationship has always struggled with boundaries, insecurity, and lingering doubts about loyalty. But this time, insiders claim the tension had been building off camera for weeks. Long before viewers saw the explosion. And midway through the argument, blink and you missed it, Jasmine said something that made longtime fans freeze. Her voice dropped, not louder, quieter. That kind of quiet usually means the real emotion is finally spilling through. And if you've been watching closely, you know exactly why that moment mattered. Quick pause, if you're still here, you're definitely one of the real ones following every twist in this story. Stay close, because what surfaced after the cameras stopped rolling changes how this entire fight looks. Because the mid-story twist. It didn't happen on the show. It happened online. Within 48 hours of the episode airing, social media started connecting dots that TLC never fully addressed. Old interviews resurfaced. Past clips went viral again. Even subtle Instagram activity from both Jasmine and Gino began getting analyzed frame by frame. And the pattern fans noticed was unsettling. During the weeks leading up to the filmed argument, Jasmine's posts reportedly became more emotionally heavy, cryptic captions about trust, loyalty, and feeling unsupported. Meanwhile, Gino's online presence grew noticeably quieter. For a couple whose relationship has always lived partly in the public eye, silence speaks volumes. Then came the Reddit deep dive that really set the fandom on fire. One user compiled timeline evidence suggesting the fight viewers saw may have been the boiling point of a much longer off-camera conflict involving finances, expectations, and future plans that weren't aligning anymore. Suddenly, the argument didn't look random. It looked inevitable, and fans split into camps almost immediately. Team Jasmine argued she's been emotionally stretched thin for years, leaving her home country, her children, her comfort zone, only to feel uncertain about her partner's commitment. Team Gino supporters pushed back hard, saying he's been under massive financial and emotional pressure while constantly being criticized on national television. The comment sections got messy fast. TikTok creators started posting side-by-side clips comparing early season Jasmine and Gino to their recent appearances. YouTube reaction videos began using words like burnout, resentment, and relationship fatigue. But the biggest shift came when viewers noticed something subtle in the fight footage itself. Watch Gino closely during the peak of the argument. There's a moment, very brief, where he doesn't look defensive. He looks tired, not angry, not confused, tired. And for longtime viewers, that single expression changed everything. Because relationships don't usually end at the loudest moment. They end when someone quietly runs out of emotional energy. Behind the scenes, sources close to production have hinted that filming with the couple had grown increasingly tense in recent months. Nothing explosive enough to stop production, but enough that crew members reportedly noticed the emotional distance growing. Again, none of this was heavily emphasized on the show. But fans are putting the pieces together. And the biggest reveal might explain why this fight hit so differently than all the others. According to multiple fan investigations and timeline breakdowns circulating online, this wasn't just another blow-up. It may have been the first time both Jasmine and Gino stopped fighting to fix things, and started fighting because something inside the relationship had already shifted. That's a dangerous turning point. Because historically, their fights were followed by intense reconciliations, emotional apologies, passionate makeups that convinced viewers they were still deeply invested in each other. But after this one, the energy felt colder. Even their post-episode social media behavior raised eyebrows. Fans noticed fewer playful interactions, fewer public reassurances, more vague, emotionally loaded posts that left room for speculation. And that brings us to the part TLC definitely didn't highlight. Behind the dramatic voices and camera angles, relationship experts watching the episode pointed out something subtle but important. The conflict wasn't just about the surface issue they were arguing over. It was layered: money stress, immigration pressure, trust wounds that never fully healed, emotional exhaustion on both sides. When those factors stack up over time, even small disagreements can trigger massive reactions. Not because of the moment itself, but because of everything sitting underneath it. And based on what fans are now seeing, that emotional pile had been growing for a long time. So where does that leave them now? Officially, neither Jasmine nor Gino has confirmed any permanent split directly tied to this specific fight. But the online temperature around their relationship has undeniably changed. Viewers aren't just watching for drama anymore. They're watching for signs of the end. Because the scariest thing about this latest on-camera fight isn't how loud it was. It's how different it felt. Less explosive passion, more quiet emotional fatigue. And if longtime reality TV history has taught fans anything, it's that relationships rarely survive that shift for long. But here's the question that's dividing the entire fandom right now. Did viewers just witness another dramatic chapter in Jasmine and Gino's rollercoaster love story? Or did we just watch the beginning of the end, the moment where love finally started running on empty? Because one thing is certain. This story isn't finished yet. And if you've been watching closely, you already know the next chapter could change everything. Thanks for watching this video and please subscribe Talent Zone Updates YouTube channel for more update news.